Okay, so first let's just think, what impact has this human coming to the planet had on the aliens? Do you think that this human has given them any new information? Or will they just carry on with their lives and think that nothing?
Has he said anything that's not, I especially like the guy with the blue eyes, has he said anything else that could hint to the, or is that all he says on the subject?
So all the person says is, I especially liked the alien with blue eyes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now that Ronnie and Jasper are here, maybe we have to repeat the question for them.
I think Jasper was already here, but I will copy and paste the question. So sorry for the bad spacing. Just read it pretending there are spaces. Okay, so all the human does is arrive at this planet and make this statement. Thank you for your hospitality. Yeah. I especially liked the alien with blue eyes. So basically, if any alien discovers the color of their own eyes, they will vanish overnight. So we have this population of aliens, and then all of a sudden, human comes along and says, I especially liked the alien with blue eyes. So what is everyone thinking? Are they thinking that this human coming along and making this statement hasn't really changed the way they see things? No, so the other aliens do not know anything aside from what the human said. So all the human said is, I especially liked the alien with blue eyes. No indication as to which alien has blue eyes. Okay, so we'll assume that these aliens have perfect logical reasoning skills, and no matter if they want to learn or not, they're going to figure things out if it's possible to figure them out. So we're not going to have aliens that decide, okay, yeah, so we're not going to have any aliens that decide that they're going to keep their eyes and ears shut. All aliens will find things out if it's possible to find things out. Okay, so let me pose a question to you. Actually, no, not yet. Okay, so what has this human uncovered information-wise? What information has this human offered these aliens? So definitely this human hasn't told the aliens who has blue eyes. They've only said they like, okay, very good, yes. So yeah. So Finn is half right, Stefan is right. The only thing that the aliens can infer from this statement is that there exists at least one blue-eyed alien in order for this human to be able to make this statement. And that there is other colors. I see where you're coming from, because the human wouldn't have bothered distinguishing between blue and green if there wasn't green. But that's not quite important. So we assume that this human would have said it even if everyone had blue eyes. Okay, so basically what we have from this statement is, I'm going to use this symbol. So there exists at least one blue-eyed alien. Okay, I'm going to move to my tablet soon. A blue-eyed alien. Okay, so have a think about that. Now that we've figured out that these aliens know that there exists a blue-eyed alien, I think it's perhaps a natural question to think, in what scenarios would this be a revelation? So if I was an alien, in what case would this be a revelation and give me some new information that I didn't have before? So think about this. If I was an alien on this planet and I could see like 10 other aliens with blue eyes, I don't know what my own eye color is because otherwise I would have vanished by then. But if I can see 10 other aliens with blue eyes, then does this human's statement shock me?
It means that one of those 10 people might have had it, but it doesn't affect you personally because you know that other people could have had it.
Okay, so it
But you
doesn't.
could be wondering if it was you at the same time.
That's a good point. Yeah, so this human statement could have been referring to me, but it could have been referring to the other aliens too. But in terms of the strongest thing I can infer from this human statement that there exists a blue-eyed alien, is that shocking news to me? Like, is it shocking for me to know that there exists a blue-eyed alien? No. Yeah, so no, because I already knew that there existed a blue-eyed alien. So in what case would it be shocking? Okay, so Rihanna already said something very interesting, and that's exactly the answer I was looking for. Yeah, so if everyone around you is green-eyed and you suddenly find out that there exists a blue-eyed alien, that means that you have to be the blue-eyed alien because you can't see any other blue-eyed aliens. So that means that we're talking.
That means that everyone will disappear because they know you're the blue-eyed alien, and so they know that they're the green-eyed aliens.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So while I write this down, do you want to elaborate on why everyone else knows that they are a green-eyed alien?
Because they know who the blue-eyed alien is, and the only other color is green.
Okay, why is the only other color green?
Because that was specified in the question. Was it?
Well, okay, so if there's one blue-eyed alien, right? And so in the case of one blue alien, they die on the first night. Okay, so die. Okay, this is very slow. I'm gonna refresh and just write here. So one blue-eyed alien dies on night 1. Okay, so I mean, the other aliens would have already known that this blue-eyed alien had blue eyes because the other aliens are allowed to see the blue-eyed. I mean, the other aliens can see the color of everyone else around them. So by being an alien and seeing that the blue-eyed alien dies on night 1, it doesn't exactly reveal to me that this blue-eyed alien has blue eyes because that's something that I already knew. But it reveals something else to me. It reveals something else to me that tells me that I have green eyes. So what exactly does it reveal to me? Would this blue-eyed alien have vanished on night 1 if there was another blue-eyed alien? So if there were 2 blue-eyed aliens?
No, because he wouldn't be certain that he was the one that it was being talked about.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He wouldn't be certain that it was him. And so everyone else observes that the only blue-eyed alien they can see has vanished. And since they can see all the eye colors, that means that they know that either the other blue-eyed alien was the only blue-eyed alien, or the other blue-eyed alien and himself had blue eyes. But then because the other blue-eyed alien was certain and died on the first night, that means that every other alien has green eyes and doesn't possibly have blue eyes. So that means that everyone dies on night 2, because everyone is thinking, okay, either that guy was the only blue-eyed alien, or that guy and me had blue eyes. But after this news, they know for sure that they have green eyes. So everyone else dies on night 1. I mean, night 2. So everyone else definitely has green eyes because we're looking at the case where there's only one blue-eyed alien. Okay, so that's one case. But we haven't really thought about the other cases, right? This is just sort of an extreme edge case where for one alien, it's a revelation that there exists a blue-eyed alien. So let's go back to this case where there are 2 blue-eyed aliens. Finn said something interesting about deducing from the one blue-eyed alien vanishing that they were certain. What if I was some alien and I could see one other blue-eyed alien, but then that blue-eyed alien doesn't vanish on night 1? Then what can I say? So what if I can only see one other blue-eyed alien and they don't die on night 1? What does that mean? I know that if they die on night 1, then that means that they were the only blue-eyed alien. And that means I have...
If you can only see one other blue-eyed alien and they don't die,
Yeah.
then that means that they can see you.
Yeah.
That means that you're blue-eyed as well. And so you know your color.
Exactly. So if there are 2 blues and then the first night, nothing happens. First night. So on the first night, definitely nothing happens. First night, nothing. Because both of the blue-eyed aliens are unsure. They're not sure that, like they're not sure about anything. But then on the second night, both these blue-eyed aliens would have observed that the other blue-eyed alien didn't die, which means that they both have blue eyes. So that means that on the second night, the 2 blues die. Cool. What else happens? What about the rest of the alien planet? So the rest of the alien planet saw 2 blue-eyed aliens, and then they realized that after the second night, they both die. Okay, so why would everyone else die? Why would everyone else find out that they have green eyes? The reason that they all die is because the fact that the 2 blues died meant that they could see only one other blue and no other blues. Because if they could see 2 blues, then they wouldn't be certain after the second night. They'd have to wait another night.
So they know they're green.
Yeah, so all the greens realize after the 2 blues die that the rest of the planet must be green. So they all die. So in general, it seems like these aliens are pretty good at inductively reasoning things, right? So I think that a fact that these aliens have used is that if there are n blue eyes, so the fact that they use, if there are n bees, then all n blue-eyed aliens die on night n. In fact, this is an if and only if. So whenever there are n blue-eyed aliens, they die on the nth night. So the reason that they've used that in both cases is over here, we already talked about. Over here, all the green-eyed aliens use the fact that one blue-eyed alien dies on night 1, therefore there are no more blue-eyed aliens, and so everyone else is green. So that's the n=1 case of this pink statement. Okay, now in the second case, this step here, what's happened is the 2 blue-eyed aliens thought if there's only one blue-eyed alien, they would have died on the first night, which is again using the n=1 case of this pink statement. So then they die on night 2. And then in this step, all the other aliens have used the n=2 case of this pink statement and said that since they died on the second night, there must be only 2 blue-eyed aliens. And therefore they know that since those 2 have vanished, they're all green. So it seems that these aliens have used this fact, which sounds very induction-y because it goes up in natural numbers n greater than or equal to 1. So that definitely feels like something we could prove by induction, right? So let's put ourselves in the place of the alien planet and actually prove this by induction to see how they arrived at this general thing. Okay, so the n=1 case we already talked about, because if there's only one blue-eyed alien, then this human's statement about there existing a blue-eyed alien would tell them that they are the blue-eyed alien. So we've already done the base case. Now we can assume that it is true for some number of blue-eyed aliens. So assume that whenever there are k blue-eyed aliens, then all of them die on the kth night. So we want to prove the next step for this domino effect. Okay. And we kind of already did this in the case of 2 blue-eyed aliens, but what happens is every single one of the blue-eyed aliens, every single one of the k+1 blue-eyed aliens will see, they will see only k Bs because they can see everyone but themselves. But then if they were the only blue-eyed aliens, they would have died on the kth night. So, but they don't die on the kth night. They would die on kth night. But since they don't die on the kth night, then the next day, each of these k+1 blue-eyed aliens realizes that they have blue eyes. So that means that on the k+1th night, all of them die. Okay, so by induction, this is the logic that all of the aliens are using to deduce that when there are n blue-eyed aliens, they all die on night n. and by observing the nth night. So if I'm a green-eyed alien and I can see n other blue-eyed aliens, I can just wait for night n. And if they die on night n, then I know that I'm green and I die right after. If they don't die on night n, then I know that I'm blue. So I become part of the mass vanishing of all the blues that die on the n+1th night. And then all the greens die after. So you can see that what happens in general is for any number of blue-eyed aliens, the entire population vanishes just because of this inductive reasoning. Does that make sense to people? Okay, so yeah, we have this pink fact that the aliens are able to prove using their inductive skills because they have perfect logical reasoning skills. And then from that, once they've realized that this is a fact, then for any number of blue-eyed aliens like n, then they all die on night n. We just proved that. And then all the greens die after because the greens realize that the other n blue-eyed aliens they saw are the only blue-eyed aliens, so they must be green. Die on n+1 night. So it doesn't matter what number of blue-eyed aliens there are. They all end up dying. It just depends which night it happens on. Okay, well, I think there's a question that I want to ask you all. Bad human. Yeah, this bad human was just trying to be nice and express their gratitude for the hospitality and ended up killing the entire race. Okay, so there's a question that I want to ask, and that is, remember at the beginning, I phrased this in terms of, in what scenario would this information actually be new information? So this information of existence. And then you guys came up with the fact that if there's only one blue-eyed alien, then to that one blue-eyed alien, this is news. But if there is any more than one blue-eyed alien, this shouldn't be news, right? Because if there's more than one blue-eyed alien, then everyone already knows that there exist blue-eyed aliens. So why do they all end up vanishing anyway? Why do they end up vanishing anyway if this supposedly doesn't offer them any new information? And I think to answer this question, we can consider, let's think, because we're trying to figure out why they end up vanishing, even if this is not news to them. So what if human never spoke? So let's think about this question if we want to answer the question that I just posed. Why do they vanish even though this is not directly any new information? Can people hear me?
Yep.
Okay. People can hear me, Ronnie. Try changing output sound. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so are people thinking about this? What if the blue-eyed alien never came? I mean, sorry, what if the human never came to this planet and never said anything? Because we're sort of thinking it feels as if nothing has changed if there are more than one blue-eyed alien. Because it feels like this is not really new information whenever there's more than one blue-eyed alien, right? So I think, again, it's probably useful to go back to that extreme case, because I said it feels as if nothing would happen for more than one blue-eyed alien. But what if there was only one blue-eyed alien? What would be the difference if there was only one blue-eyed alien? Ronnie still can't hear. Okay. Yeah, have people thought about this? What would change in the case that in reality there's only one blue-eyed alien on the planet? Anyone? So this human never came along and said anything. Okay.
Or do they know that there's a blue-eyed alien? Are they certain that there's at least one of each kind?
No, they're not, because this human never came along.
Okay.
So that means that this one blue-eyed alien doesn't know that there exists a blue-eyed alien, right? So I think you're on the right track. That means that they don't die because they no longer become certain that there exists a blue-eyed alien, and therefore they're no longer sure that they are the blue-eyed alien. So they don't die. Then what about the rest of the planet? The rest of the planet doesn't die either, right? Because the rest of the planet didn't observe this one blue-eyed alien vanishing. So the planet lives. Okay, what about the two blue-eyed alien case? So what about the two blue-eyed alien case if the human never came along? Let's just repeat our reasoning. So remember that if there were two blue-eyed aliens, then the way that they died was by observing that the other blue-eyed alien didn't vanish. So the way they died was by saying, oh, I can only see one blue-eyed alien, but they didn't vanish on night one. Therefore, I must be a blue-eyed alien. Otherwise, they would have vanished. But can you see where this logic breaks down now? This logic breaks down because now that the human never came along, then this thing happens. That happens. Like the one blue-eyed alien doesn't die. So the logic that they were basing their deaths on is no longer legit. So they can't observe the first night. They can't die from observing the first night because the logic which would make them sure is no longer true. First night. Does that make sense? So they're not going to die because their logic breaks down, which tells them why they're the other blue-eyed alien. And that means that the rest of the planet lives. Again, the planet lives. So really what's happened is, remember this fact that all of the really logical aliens uncovered? So the aliens are really smart and they inductively proved this fact. And this fact was the basis of all of their deaths. They used this fact, observed each night passing, and as soon as it got to the 10th night, they knew whether they were green or blue, and they all died. But the thing is that if this human never comes along and says that there exists at least one blue-eyed alien, then this fact that all of the I'm tutoring. Yeah, sure. Sorry. So this fact breaks down because the base case breaks down. So for n equals 1, we can no longer say that if there's one blue-eyed alien, they vanish on the first night. And therefore, this entire inductive proof breaks down because we don't have our base case. So if you think about induction like dominoes falling over, then basically what happened is no one sets the first domino over and the rest of this fact doesn't follow. So basically, if there was no human, then this thing would no longer be true. And then the logic which they base their deaths on is no longer true. And so the entire planet lives. So that kind of tells you why, even if this is not directly any new information to the planet, well, if they can go along a string of direct implications and arrive at this inductive argument, they're able to use this as information anyway. So this doesn't only tell us that there exists a blue-eyed alien, it also tells us that if there's one blue-eyed alien, they will vanish. And that is extra information on top of this that the aliens can then use to their advantage. I was going to say advantage, but the advantage is they all die, so to their detriment. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Yeah, nice exercise in induction. And it sort of demonstrates how a fact might not directly lead to any new knowledge, but just the fact that the base case is true leads to all sorts of things happening. Cool. Okay, so
I think the statement actually does contain new information, right? It has to.
yeah, so it always does contain new information, which is why they all vanish. But it's just that it seems like it doesn't if there are more than one blue-eyed alien.
Yeah, so to make it more comparable, instead of telling people that it exists a blue-eyed alien, right? Like the extra, so it tells them not only that piece of information, but it also tells them that everyone else also knows that everyone else has this piece of information.
Yeah, okay. So the fact that this human comes along and says this, yeah, tells all the aliens that everyone else has also heard this statement, which is why this process kicks off and this single blue-eyed alien would die. And then for the two blue-eyed aliens, they also use the fact that everyone has heard this statement. So if the other blue-eyed alien was the only one, then they would have died on the first night. Okay, any questions?